Now we get on to our next speaker, Amol Dige. Amol, are you able to hear us?
Yes. Hi, Satya. Good evening. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Good
Hi,
evening.
Amol. So let me give you a brief introduction about Amol. He holds a bachelor's in statistics, ranking second in the Pune University, working in the enterprise product development since 20 years for various companies such as Veritas, Symantec, BMC, IBM, and now as a technical lead at HCL Software Product Division. Coincidentally, he is also our IPL alumni. Sports enthusiast with interest in fitness, cycling, trekking. If you felt product manager's job is highly stressful with juggling priorities as well of survival, meet Amol Dige, who went on a trek to Everest Base Camp, got stuck in an earthquake that hit Nepal in 2015 and still survived. He's here to present us top 5 trends in digital product management, and hopefully he should be able to share some tips and tricks of how survival means to everyday product manager. Over to you, Amol.
Thank you, Satya. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much for that. Firstly, good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us today on a Friday evening. That too, it's near the weekend, and I'm sure you guys have plans. And thanks for choosing this over your Netflix and other stuff, right? So, with that, let me share my screen. Please let me know, Satya, when you can see my screen.
Yes, I'm able to see your screen, but not in full mode.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yes, we are able to see both your video as well as the screen share.
Thank you so much. So, wonderful topic. The previous one, great job, Chaitali. It was nice to know those have those insights. Now we're going to move to a different topic, and I'm going to try to make it interesting and fun learning. It's a very simple topic. It's talking about the top 5 trends in digital product management, right? So we're going to look at what are the trends in 2021 as far as digital product management is concerned. You guys have been tuning into the talks on this forum, and this is, of course, the Product Leadership Festival, and it's the edition of digital product management, right? So that means that you guys are either practicing product managers or aspiring ones, right? So in either case, you would like to know what are the trends that are there in product management, especially in digital product management. And how would this help you? I think my attempt would be to help you get further insights into what are the top trends and how you can utilize them, perhaps, to excel in your career as a product manager. So I'll get started. Let's look at what the topics are. There are just 3 main topics to keep it simple. One, what is digital product management? So despite of us already having many days of product management festival, there may be some who have joined us afresh today. So let us relook at what is digital product management. Then how is it different from traditional product management? Okay, so we've been having physical products ever since. Then how is digital product management different? So we can look at that a little in depth and see what are the possible differences, what could be the challenges, what could be the opportunities, perhaps, when we talk about digital product management over traditional product management. And lastly, as the topic of this presentation, the top 5 trends in digital product management. So we'll build up to that as we understand digital product management and move on from there. Okay. So let's go on to the first topic, which is what is digital product management? So for that, let us look at digital products versus physical products. I understand most of you are already aware of this, but it helps to get further insights because even when I had an understanding earlier of digital products, it was very limited. So let's look at what a digital product could be. Of course, physical products, we already know it's there all around us, right? So let's look at some. These are our popular and favorite ones. Needs no explanation: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Insta, Google Plus, WhatsApp, and so on, right? How about a physical product? The shirt, right? As simple as that. That's also a product. Another digital product can be an ebook, which are very popular these days, right? Physical product, a laptop. Then how about Netflix and other streaming platforms? Those are also digital products. And a McD's burger, that itself is also a physical product. How about music? Spotify, Ghana, and so on. These are also a digital product where music is being streamed. An Apple iPhone, some app like Cred. A bicycle is a physical product, of course. This is a woman doing yoga with an online class. So any online class or course is a digital product. Shoe, of course, will be a physical product. So you would think, why are we even discussing this? It's quite intuitive, isn't it? But if you look at the basic definition of a digital product, it's something that is intangible. It is something that you can access only electronically, right? Whereas a physical product is something you can is tangible, you can touch and feel and perhaps smell, like the burger out there, right? So what is the typical differences, right? We will go into that further. But as you would appreciate, a physical product has to have a manufacturing process, right? And a delivery process, which will involve the channels, the distribution channels, etc. Whereas a digital product will have a different set of challenges. It won't have those manufacturing related processes. So let's move on. So now that we have looked at digital products and physical products, let's look at what is digital product management. Okay, here is our favorite series, at least to mine, Money Heist Part 5, that was released on Netflix. So why am I bringing this up? Because we are going to talk about Netflix, as an example, and see how digital product management will be. So what are the characteristics? Digital products generate a lot of data. So for example, if I'm a Netflix user and I go and look at, and I have a history of what are the movies and shows and documentaries that I've watched. There's a lot of data in terms of whether I started watching and I left it halfway. If it's a website, then where did I click? If it's a sign up process, till what point did I go? Or is there a drop off at the first screen, second screen, or is it a drop off at the payment? So there is so much of data that can be collected from digital products. And that's why we say that digital products generate a lot of data. And it also allows constant iterations. So that means you can constantly, iterate those products in terms of getting in newer versions, not only bug fixes, but some enhancements, some usability fixes. So many things can, go in very quickly and in a very frequent and faster manner. And not only do we build, develop, and deliver the product, but we utilize the data to enhance the product. For example, taking the example of Netflix itself, did you know that the icons that you see, if there's a movie or a show that is being shown, I will see a different set of icons according to my preferences, and some other user might see a different icon for the same movie, for the same show. the image that is shown over there. So it's as per the analytics that they run. They want to utilize the data on my usage, and then they want to show me in a way that I will be tempted to watch that particular show or movie. So that is utilizing data to enhance the product, right? Or even it could be like, if we were talking about drop-offs from the pages. So can I, where are the maximum drop-offs happening? Is it at the payment? Is there something wrong at the payment option? Is the payment gateway not working? What is the possible cause? And so we can go back and utilize that data to, enhance the product, maybe make some corrections and so on. So DPM stands for Digital Product Management. What does it involve? It involves this complex analysis, because there will be so much of data coming in, right? What is the data to look at, what to look for, and so on. So then how can we remember what is important? So let's look at the ABCDs of digital product management. One, excuse me. One, of course, is analytics. Second is business modeling. You would have seen, you would have heard about the business model canvas, right? So how do we talk about what is our value proposition? Who are our partners? What are the processes we will do in-house? What are the processes we will outsource? Who is our target segment? Who is the customer whom we want to sell to? Okay. What are the possible target segments? What is the channel, with which? What are our revenues? What is our cost structure, and so on. So that is business modeling. Then coordination, of course, within the teams is important in order to have in terms of digital product management, and design thinking. So we'll see a little bit more about design thinking as well. But these are the ABCDs, so as to say, of the digital product management. So I'll move on. And also the product must evolve. So what do we understand by evolve? We always know that there are always some technology enhancements that are happening around the world. There are some other things like maybe, if you've heard of PESTEL, that is political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. So there could be a new regulation, or there could be some other political, there could be so many other factors because of which we want to evolve, or in terms of the usability. So instead of taking 2 clicks for the user to do the same thing, can I do it in just a single click? No, that will make it easier for the user, and more the adaptability of the product will become better. So let's look at, so this is one picture which shows you, what can we, how can we use the metrics to improve the system. So we start here at the top with the system goals, users, products, or service. And then we look at what data or info should we gather or not gather, do the measurements. Then what did we learn? How are we doing? Then the insights plus tracking, and that we get. And how do we improve? Do we need to refine our goals? So that goes back as an input. So I think this is pretty much intuitive, and we spoke of some examples like drop-offs and using customer data to improve the products, look for preferences, and so on. Yeah. So what is common between the two, the physical, the traditional product management, and the digital product management? So this is the value proposition canvas, which you might be aware of, where we have products and services. There is some pain relievers that we give. So typically a product would serve as a pain reliever for some pain for the customer, or as a gain creator. And then how do we look at, on the other side, the customer jobs to be done? What is the customer trying to do? And what are their pains, and what kind of gains can we provide them? So what is common is, of course, putting the users first, identifying the real pain points, evaluating addressable markets. What is the market? What is the segment of the customers that we need to address? It's not that my product will be sold to everyone. So for example, maybe like a music Take the example of Spotify. Not everyone may be a music lover. So which kind of segment is it that we are trying to address, right? Then bringing together a team. So, in both the cases, you have to get together a team of, who works on the product. Prototyping, of course, create a prototype of the product, which is different from MVP. You guys must be familiar with MVP, but a prototype can even be, where you have a prototype on the screen where you can show, or even something, a paper prototype or something. Of course, testing and delivering the product and continuously iterating in the market, etc. So these are common between the two. Let's move on. So as a digital product manager, this is what your avatar would look like. You are handling so many responsibilities. So let's look at what those responsibilities are. Of course, lead the development of a digital product or a suite of such products. Analyze the market to make sure product continues to offer advantages over its competitors, right? We need to keep the competitive edge. Understand the user persona, buyer persona, and develop unique value propositions for both. And of course, monitor, analyze on the analytics and continually improve, so that we have a better lifetime value of the customer. As we understand, the lifetime value is the total value we get from a customer throughout the lifetime. So it's not just the initial purchase, or it's overall. So if I am a Tata Sky subscriber, then I will be providing payments every month or on a yearly basis, and that the total that I do over a period of time till maybe I stop being a customer or till the end is the lifetime value. So how do we really boost that? Yeah. So, and create and prioritize, yeah. So these are the last, these are the things that a digital product manager would do. So let's look at the trends finally that are there in digital product management in 2021. So firstly, digital products are the key. So for any business, digital products are going to be the key. You've seen the ads from ICICI Bank where, it says that you are the branch, isn't it? So, more and more emphasis on digital products now. I signed up for a new account in a bank, savings account, and everything was just done online, all the verification, everything. So gone are the days where I have to go to the bank and give some hard copies and sign on papers and so on, right? Then design dominance. So we looked at each one of this in detail, but what do we understand by design dominance? So any product, how is it designed and how user-friendly is it? How, am I happy using it? Do I enjoy the experience or is it really, not that great? Is it irritating and so on? And, that is what will drive the customers back to the product. More specialized product roles. So we'll talk about this, how the product roles are getting more and more specialized. Faster evolution of PM tools. So there are more and more tools. Already there are existing tools in the market, but how there'll be more tools and they will be evolving really fast. COVID-19 impact, of course, an emphasis on better customer connections and supportive environment. So we are going to pick up the top 5 in my opinion. This may not be, so someone else might be have a different opinion. So we'll pick up those in my eyes. So digital products are the key. So digital products will be the key to business growth, as we said. E-commerce, drone delivery, video conferencing, like we are doing a Zoom call right now, remote doctor appointments, Practo, and so on, smart robotics, online learning. So many online learning platforms are coming on. Most of our learning has now become online. Digital conferences and online banking, like we just discussed. So, looking at all these are triggers for more and more digital products, right? So we see in 2020, we saw a dramatic spike in digital commerce. Companies are increasingly understanding the importance of digital experience for customers. So now that, they have to go, there's a big push also. So they are bound to understand the importance of digital experiences for customers. So this is the number 1 trend. Digital products are the key. The second, of course, is design dominance. This is also an interesting one. So we are working from home, most of us, and we are spending so much time with so many products, and most of them are digital products like, apps and, the streaming platforms and whatnot. So more time spent with digital products due to work from home. Of course, all our collaboration happens over the laptop, over, calls and so on. User-friendly design is crucial. So I think one of the main reason that some of the products have become really successful, for example, Zoom over the others, and perhaps we never knew Zoom before COVID, right? We were using Skype and so on, but suddenly it's become so successful is because the user-friendly design it has, and I think you would agree with that. So here is an example of something which may not be user-friendly. A very, very sophisticated remote control with so many buttons. I don't know which one to press for, whatever I want to do. And look at this model where it's a very simplistic design. You would identify this remote. This is the Fire TV remote from Amazon. So this has a very simplistic design, and it's very easy to use, easy on the eye as well. So design is now a primary consideration. So gone are the days when we used to think that it is a secondary one, right? So now let's look at the third trend, more specialized product roles. So earlier, a product manager would have to wear multiple hats like this, and they required a broad range of knowledge. But now there is more increased importance of PMs. PMs would focus on dedicated areas. So now what happens is, because there is more and more importance, now we, as PMs, we need to focus on more dedicated areas. So what we in turn look for are experts in certain areas. And what could those areas be? Growth, mobile, personalization, and so on. So if you look out for roles that are coming out for job descriptions, you will see more and more specializations that the companies are looking for. So that's the trend number 3, more specialized product roles. And of course, it's important for an organization to assemble the right team of complementary product specialists. So if I have a growth guy, do I have someone who takes care of mobile and so on? So we have to assemble the right team. And then the fourth, of course, is faster evolution of PM tools. Now that there is so much of emphasis on product management and, for the success of the organization, efficiency is very important. So more and more tools are coming up, and they are getting more and more specialized. Here's a look at a Miro board, which is our own as a Product Labs team for our IPL Executive MBA. We are working on a product idea, and this is the tool that we use. We use a Miro board. Of course, we work remotely, and this is how we did a retrospective of the last semester that we had. So enhance workflows, create new opportunities. So this is what the tools does. It's also giving you new opportunities. And the other thing is, it is collaborative and intuitive for you. So someone sitting here, someone sitting in the UK, US, they're using it together. So this is another example. This is Trello product. How we are using this tool to collaborate as a team. And the last trend is COVID-19 impact. So of course we know about COVID-19, and we are full remote working until 2022, and that calls for enhancing the existing remote practices. So PMs need to create strategic planning processes that are close-ended. Instead of going on one call after the other, they need to have close-ended strategic planning processes and extended access to tools for effective async collaboration. So this is the kind of skills that perhaps a PM would require in order to counter this challenges of COVID-19. Yeah. So this is a recap of what we just saw, and these are the top 5 trends in digital product management that we have seen. Digital products are the key: design dominance, more specialized product roles, faster evolution of PM tools, and COVID-19 impact. Some of the reference books, of course, a disclaimer, I have not read all of them, but I think these are good books that any product manager should read. Hooked by Nir Eyal. This is Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. I think the name itself is quite, self-explanatory. Start with why, good to great. So perhaps you may want to take a screenshot of this and go ahead and look for perhaps an ebook or a physical book to buy, right? So before we go, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Bill Gates. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So don't be really dejected that you have an unhappy customer, but perhaps look at it as an opportunity that you could learn a lot, and that could be your greatest source of learning. That's all I have. Thank you so much. I hope I could, engage you and give you something to take back. Thank you. Over to Satya.
Thanks a lot, Amol. That was quite, quite a lot, from A, B, C, D, E of product management. What's the difference between a physical product and a digital product? And then you took us all the way from burgers to money heist. Quite a lot to absorb, and the top 5 trends in terms of not just the product, the UI, but also what happens around the environment. That was quite insightful. So what we would do is here, take up a question from Alipta. She's asking, in the context, I think, of a digital product management, how would you differentiate between a user persona and a buyer persona?
Okay. So can we take an example of a school learning app? Okay. This is a very good question. Thank you, Alipta, for that. So let's take an example of, say, Byju's, right? Who's the buyer? Is it the kid? No, it's not the kid who's, a school going kid. It is the parent. So, but the user would be the kid, right? So when you look at a buyer persona, you need to look at one of the parent or a grandparent or maybe someone else elderly in the family. But when you look at a user persona, you're looking at that kid who's going to interact with the product, right? So obviously, when you design the product, when you the lessons and everything, you'll have to make it such that it's pleasing to the user person. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, that was a great answer, Amol. It impresses upon who is the buyer, what commercials involved, and what is the end user as against the buyer. So that was insightful. So in the interest of time, I think there is no more questions on the Zoom, and I couldn't find anything on the LinkedIn as well. So I think it's a great session from you, Amol. And as a small gratitude from the Institute of Product Leadership for sharing valuable insights, the certificate of appreciation leads you to our Hall of Fame. You can scan and download the same. Thanks
Thank you
for
so
sharing
much.
your experience.
Thanks to IPL for this opportunity.